My name is Brian Estes. I'm the Unit and Fire Chief for the CAL FIRE Nevada-Yuba-Placer unit in the Placer County Fire Department. My passion for artwork and music dates back really to kind of my early childhood. I was always looking to draw something. I always had an affinity to be able to look at something and put it in proportion or be able to replicate it in illustration. It was, I believe, in 4th or 5th grade, there was a teacher who really inspired me, and she got me involved and centered around kind of the specific type of art that she saw me gravitate toward, which was more illustration and very technical type of artwork. Never really thought about becoming a firefighter, although I came from a public service family, law enforcement and education, but I never really was one of those guys who was hanging out at the fire station or listening to calls or anything like that. But I did grow up in a community where CDF was the county fire department, and I saw it all around me. And some of my early pieces of artwork that my mom has shared with me are actually, believe it or not, of interpretations of CDF fire engines and things like that were even when I was really young. So maybe it was kind of fortuitous that it worked out this way. But I also just did not really feel that I was suited to work in an office and environment. And I also found myself at this interesting crossroads where the computer industry was starting to take over the more of the artistic or hand-drawn niche of illustration. And I had this fork in the roads, and I had my passion and I had my interests, but I also really had this interest in serving the public because my father was in law enforcement and my mother was an educator. And so I followed that and took an abrupt left turn from art and music and design and went into the fire service. And it's been an amazing 35-year career with this department. Just blessed to have opportunities of a lifetime and been able to do everything and anything that I've put my mind to in this agency. And really, when I was able to get to a point in my career where I could access some of my design and artistic attributes and education and apply them to the department's kind of evolution from CDF into CAL FIRE. Early on, I worked really closely with our aviation management unit on redeveloping and redesigning some of our aircraft paint schemes. And then that led right into, in 2005, to my direct involvement with our department's branding committee, where we transitioned from CDF on January 1st of 2005 to January 1st of 2006. One of the proudest things that I've ever been, part of in this department, and was integral in working on really the aircraft paint schemes, the patch design that we all are so proud of and is almost a household image across the world. Was responsible for that design, vehicles, and just the multitude of applications of CAL FIRE across our department is really special to me. This old Model 1 here, Chevy Model 1, dating back to the mid-70s, is one of my favorites, just because of the details. Anything where I can see details that I can actually know that I worked on it, touched it, that I know the specifics of the color of that hose or the color of that decal. I think that's what makes my artwork different than maybe others, is that I can tell a person by describing a piece of artwork that really is the way that looked, because I've touched it and I've seen it in person and I've lived it for my 35-year career. This piece behind me representing the first of our S2s to come into service in 1973, the S2 trackers, is also one of my favorites, just because I love the history of our department, and I love what the forefathers of our forefathers in this department, just the can-do attitude that they had about making things become reality. I think if I was, after 35 years in this business, if I was to say what is the legacy that I want to leave on on a young person just coming into this department is to really just understand that they have the opportunity of a lifetime right now, that the change, the ability to be at the forefront of change and evolution right now in CAL FIRE is like nothing I've ever seen in my career. As we evolve into the future, just remember that whether it's the stuff we're talking about today with the design and identity of our equipment, or just the way that we operate into the future, just remember and respect the traditions of those who came before us.